Welcome to Truthzilla. I am Megan sitting here with Scott and Ed.
What?
Today we are super excited to be talking with Sam Tripoli of the Tinfoil Hat
Fucking
podcast.
dream come true shit.
Yeah,
Huh?
what the hell happened? What dimension are we living in?
Oh my God.
Oh, well. Here we go. Hope you guys enjoy the show.
I can hear you now. There we go. All right. Welcome to your daily dose. You know, this is your daily dose, and super excited to have these cats on. They're the young guns of the conspiracy truth movement, and they've come in. They have, you know, I always say a podcast has to have two things. You got to learn something, and you got to have a really interesting name, and they probably have the best name in the business.
What?
They are the Truthzilla Podcast. Megan, Ed, and Scott, how are you guys?
Yeah.
We're
Hi,
doing
Sam.
great, man.
Dude,
Thanks for having us, Sam.
No, it's an honor to have you guys on. I really do appreciate it. What I have to do in Zoom now is I have to take this and I have to put it on my camera so I don't stare at myself the whole
Okay.
time.
Yeah, I feel you.
For sure. So yeah, I think we owe you a lot, Sam, to being here today, because I remember listening to Tinfoil Hat and you saying, you know, just do something else different for a year, right? Just do something, see what happens in a year. And to me, that hit home because that's like kind of a recovery principle too, right? Like just give it a year, right?
100%.
So like I said to Scott, I'm like, let's just do this thing, man. Like, cause I was calling him on my lunch breaks. Like, I'm like, dude, the world is fucked up and I got no one to talk to. You got to talk to me, Scott. So we just kept talking. And one day I was like, dude, let's just do a fucking podcast, man. I'm listening to podcasts all the time. And like, I love all this information. And all I'm doing in my life is just getting information. And I need it to go somewhere, right? It's got to go somewhere. So get it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And he came to me and I'm just like, dude, we're too late. We're too late to the game, dude. There's no point in starting another podcast, right? You know what I mean? Who
Yeah,
would've thought?
I get that. I think that is the biggest fallacy ever.
Yep.
And, you know, because a lot of people think that. And the truth is like, even though there are a bazillion podcasts, there's still not enough podcasts.
For
Totally.
sure.
There-
For sure.
I mean, like, think about this, man. Just put this in perspective. The biggest podcast in the world is Joe Rogan's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
On any given episode, gets about 20 million listens, right?
Mhm.
Now, in the United States, we have 330 million people. And not all of those 20 million are Americans. They're from all around the world where you have 7 billion. So like, it's not even like 1%
Yeah.
of the population is listening to podcasts yet. So it's only going to grow, man. And as these kids get more and more glued to their phones, it's just going to be more and more. So the fact that you guys started a podcast, you know, makes you pretty much the 1% of this whole thing, because most people talk about it and then they don't do jack shit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure,
We are
for
the
sure.
1%, right? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, you know, that whole saying is just, you know, it's typical of the elites to take something and flip it so you don't really understand the true meaning of
For
it.
sure.
The true meaning of the 1% is from Buddhism, which is 1% of the population can change the thoughts of the masses. So, and of course, they took that and they demonized it and they made it so everyone thinks the 1% is about evil fucks running everything. And that's not true at all, even though they do have a giant influence on it. And I do believe, because I just don't want to ever be a black pill person, even
Yeah,
though
dude.
for a second I was, that I just believe in hope and humanity. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
One universal consciousness.
Yeah, and I really liked when we've been in the union with you and whatnot too, and like with everything going on, there's this and that, but you've really kept it simple. Like, this is a spiritual battle going on right now, and like I couldn't agree more, man. Like the farther I research and look around it, like I just feel like everything we're doing right now, it's just become a spiritual journey for us. But like it is just, there's some good versus evil shit going on right now for sure.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I find it to be like the people doing all this stuff have all the money they could ever want and all the power they could ever want. So why would they be going? Because it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with spirituality and
certainly.
trapping us here because they're trapped here, and that's kind of, they made deals with demon low frequency motherfuckers a long time ago. right? And that's why Abraxas, the chicken snake god, sent down shape-shifting Jesus to come battle the archons because they were banging our chicks. And we said, not today, fucking giant, not today. And then that's the fucking war right there.
Yeah,
and that's the history of Jesus.
Oh,
and
man. Yeah,
there you go. You don't hear that in the Bible, but it is. There's a whole bunch of that stuff that goes on, and that's when you start to look at what's really going on. You know, everybody's watching Jeff Bezos, everyone watching Bill Gates, but nobody's watching what fucking Elon Musk is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it's always the guy you don't it's always the guy being labeled as a cool dude. You know, cool Pope, Adam Silver from the NBA. They're always talked about how in love they are, and they're real pieces of shit, man. And I don't know. I haven't met Elon Musk, but based on what I'm seeing, it's the Neuralink shit. Mm-hmm. They're putting all the satellites into the sky, which sounds like the fucking, Dolby Digital sound system for this fucking, for the Project Bluebeam that's coming.
Sure,
so,
sure.
Right. So it's like kind of crazy with that, man. I love that you guys are on your journey. Whenever I talk to people that are kind of new into the game, I always like to, give them a little lecture on like what to expect, because you start getting so deep into this stuff and you start personalizing so much, it could really eat you up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the thing you just got to know is like what you're doing is the best that you can do, which is spread awareness, open people, pop minds like champagne bottles. You can't get lost into the results, because that's no different than watching the news and just being lost in the news and just giving your loosh to all that shit. So you really have to be like, I'm just here to spread the word only to those who want to learn it, and those who want to learn it will hear what's going on, and based on that and then you just got to focus on yourself. It's like there's shit going on in Yemen, right? It's super sad, but I've never been to Yemen. I can't be there and do anything about that. It's super big. Not sure we should sit back and let it happen, but spreading awareness of what's going on in Yemen is the best that we can do, is to get the word out, mobilize people. But, when it came to Q and Trump and all that shit, it's like, we're waiting for corrupt people to fix corruption, and we're always going to be let down by that.
Yeah, for sure.
Same thing with like the Great Reset, right? And all that, all the bullshit at the top, right? Like these are the guys that messed everything up. These are the guys that just torched the whole thing, and now they're the ones that have self-appointed themselves to a position to fix it. And it seems like the only people that are going to benefit from this are them. So I mean, the fact that anybody,
or that's what they want you to think.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's. Like, the truth is, like, where are the murder hornets? Where's the food shortage? Where's all this shit that's going on that is done to steal our loosh and defeat us? And there's a part of me that believes this whole Wall Street bets and the whole thing with the Robin Hood. I mean, they set up Robin Hood. Hey, man, young people, bring your money here, invest here. And, oh, by the way, we're going to pound you when you think you got us, and none of these people are going to go to jail. It's just this continuation of this notion that we're powerless, when in reality, we have all the power.
Well, and I think there's some really, I just listened to Whitney Webb talk a bit about what just happened with the GameStop and whatnot. And there's could be a real conspiracy there, right? Like there's certainly there was a lot of people that got rich that weren't just little guys in this. This was BlackRock and some of the Goldman Sachs and stuff like actually made money. Sure, they screwed these guys, but these other guys actually did all right. And then apparently the guy who started it all, he has some history of trading, so he's not the shiny knight that he's looking to be, right? So
I couldn't agree more.
So I think there's, any of these things that we think we're getting to them, we got to dig a little deeper and see what's really going on, right? So, but I think
there's always, like, anything that gets that big, it's always suspect. anything that gets that big.
Yeah.
And you know what I've learned from COVID? There's levels to billionaires, right?
Sure.
There's fucking levels to this shit. And the big billionaires have no problems with fucking the little billionaires.
Yep, for sure.
And that's 100%. Like the owner of the Houston Rockets, he's a billionaire, right? But he made his money in hotels and casinos. He's been just destroyed by all this shit.
Sure.
The guy who owns the Mets, again, surprise, surprise, is involved with like losing a ton of money. So there's levels to this shit, to the $1 billion game. And you might think you're on that level, and then there's another level above that. And I believe that I believe that Bill Gates is a lifetime actor.
Sure.
Yeah. Put in position. There's so many of them. Yeah, you can trace all, like
he
Obama.
plays Lex Luthor for everybody, right? They're just
for sure.
You're right. There's like, he's not the head of jack shit, right? There, it's like, don't get me wrong. He has power. He owns giant chunks of these things, but he's pushed out there to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And then the people behind him they take none of the arrows. And I totally believe that. And I think that's all about just trying to just make us constantly fucking feel like we're hopeless.
Man. What do you think has been the reason for like the quickening of events, right? I know that they've been talking about, New World Order and, this one world government and all these things, all these agendas that are playing out. Why all of a sudden the quickening? Why this time last year? Did they flip the switch and say, all right, now it's time? Was there a shift or?
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There is a shift. People are smarter than ever. People are more aware than ever. People have seen the guy behind the curtain than ever.
Yeah.
And they're freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like I'm just sorry. I don't believe they control every moment of everything.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, they like to give us that perception. Oh my gosh, they do such a good job of making me so fearful, and like that, me as in all of us, right? Making us so fearful and to instigate this mental little prison that we're in, like all of us are in, and making us think that they have so much control over our lives directly. And that's been one of the beautiful things about doing this podcast. We've found this like community that's like grown up around us, local people, other, podcasters, people who've started podcasts out of it, people who have these interesting perspectives. And it's really forced us to kind of like take a step back, okay. So I'll just say, like, first of all, we started off this project to like get the truth out. Right. We were motivated by, listening to podcasts ourselves and just doing all this research over the years. We're like, okay, we got to get our truth out there. Right. Wanting to wake people up. Right. And as it's become more and more polarized, it's got to the point where it's like, there's a certain segment of these people that are just lost. Like, there's no reaching them. There's no helping them. I can't.
That's their program.
Yeah.
That could easily be their program, and they're just NPCs.
Yeah,
It's 100. Dude, it could be, and I don't want to belittle anybody by any, because who am I and what do I know? But who knows if on television all this drama, trauma, and violence isn't just happening to NPCs, and that's just kind of just there to be part of this program for us to fucking just have to fucking digest and eat and feel and all that stuff. And I'm not trying to say that any violence that happens only happens to somebody who's a fucking NPC, but it's just like, it's real interesting shit, because a lot of it happens over there and not right here. Yeah. And it's just easy. It's just interesting shit, man.
Yeah.
About how much of it is actual shit. Like, how much of it is just straight staged, man? It's like to the point where it's like almost like a real theater.
Yeah. It's a one big global theater, just false flags and wag the dog type situations right and left, man. So we can't reach everybody, but I think that's part of like the biggest part of our journey has been like realizing like, okay, so instead of like trying to wake all these people up, which hopefully eventually they, some of them will come over to this side, but it's more like empowering the people that we can reach,
Yeah.
We talk a lot about solutions, you know what I mean? We talk about like for us, it's been like the freedom cells, movement, right? So freedomcells.org, man, we started our own little freedom cell. We've got this collective of people that we meet up with, no masks, sitting down. And so a lot of times this is the first time that these people have been in a room with anybody in like almost a year without masks, and it'll blow your mind the first time you get something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally understand that, dude, and I love it.
Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to do. And I think they've played their hand, and I think we're going to go back to website. Everybody having a website. We got kind of lazy by using all these platforms, but we got too powerful, and I think they lost it. I think at some point we got too powerful, and maybe Trump was sent into fucking corral. I don't know, man. But I just believe that Trump is a crime boss, and Obama's a different crime boss of a different crime family. And they're fighting over power. And and right now Trump took a beating on that shit. So we'll see what happens. I mean, he actually won, but it's
for sure.
I think they're just trying to show us that we are powerless. That's really what I believe we're at. But I don't like to get into that. I just I don't like the black pill point of view, because if it's just, I wouldn't do a show if I was just black pilled. I was like, dude, it doesn't matter. I would not do a show if I didn't think there was any fucking hope. I would be like, why would I even talk to you about that shit? Like, why even do it? If it's if we're all gonna get stuck in the butt by fucking vaccines, and we're just gonna become fucking zombies and shish kebabbed our thing, and there's no fucking hope. If they could do that, if they had all the weapons we've been beaten down with, this weapon and that weapon, and I mean, it is of my belief that I've never seen a nuclear bomb. You tell me why everybody moved back into Hiroshima 2 weeks after the bomb was dropped, when that shit's supposed to be nuclear, like just radioactive for 1,000 years. Everybody moved right back. They're giving tours of fucking Chernobyl. Why are we doing that? If this thing's supposed to be so nuclear fucking radioactive. I've never seen a nuclear bomb. No one's, I don't know anyone who could say 100%. I had someone who said they saw what they were told was a nuclear bomb, and he couldn't say it was 100% true. So, but imagine having that fucking power of this, almost like the suitcase from fucking Pulp Fiction, right? Like this thing that is just so powerful, but only some have it. And if it's so powerful and so hard to create, how does North Korea have it? And it just makes no fucking sense unless you wanted to create something, a fucking boogeyman to always have rattle when you need to raise the money of the military industrial complex. So it's like, if they could do that with nuclear weapons, what's stopping them from doing it from all these other things that they say they have? That's just so bad. Now, I'm not saying that they don't have the ability to change the weather or they can't use fucking direct energy weapons. I'm not saying that. I believe there are direct energy weapons, but I do not believe that they have the technology just to wipe us all out. Because if they could, they would control us in a heartbeat. These people are psychopaths. False flags are, in fact, used to get our consent. If they didn't need our consent, there wouldn't be false flags.
For sure. And a lot about what you just said there. I love that. I think we all get to this point where we see how big these lies are, that like anything is possible at that point, right? Like any of this shit, like you're saying, like maybe there was no nukes, maybe the earth is flat, like we've kind of all come to that point, But one thing I think we touched on earlier, just like kind of coming back to like how
Megan, are you a flat earther?
Am I?
Are you a flat earther?
I haven't looked too far down that rabbit hole, but I was just saying, like, within the last week that with everything else that they've completely fucked us off and confused us about, and like, diverted our attention and made us believe something different. I mean, after all of the other rabbit holes I've been down that turned out to be fully true, I don't know. I don't know if I could claim one way or the other. I think my foot is still more firmly on the round earth, but only because I haven't gone far enough down the rabbit hole to make like a full opinion on that. But I will say that I'm starting to lean the other way. At least I didn't. A year ago, I would have shut it down immediately. Like, if you'd have said that to me, I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But now I'm just like, with everything else that hasn't been ridiculous, maybe it's just worth. Some shit's not real. Some shit's not true. But a lot of it is, and it intrigues me.
Yeah.
It intrigues
I think
me.
it's interesting. I've come to the belief that it's really actually that's both. Like that is this realm that we create our reality. And that's why I could have a flat earther and a round ball guy and they both give evidence and you're like, fuck. I mean, they both got good points. Yeah. How's that fucking possible? Because it's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's my honest belief. It's like, it's a holodeck, dude. And whatever you want that holodeck to do is what it is. And that's why someone like Dave Weiss can sit there and just shout out all this shit that's like about flat earth. And you're like, yeah, that totally makes sense. And then like there's, Eddie Bravo has a jiu-jitsu black belt in, I believe it's Austin. And it's either Austin, I forget where it was. It's actually in, I think it was in Utah. And he's actually a professor and he deals with whatever it's called when you send like sound waves through the earth, whatever that is. Simology. I don't know what it's called. I'm not that smart.
Sonography or something. I don't know.
Something like that. I don't even know what it is, but he could show you like this will show you all the data that you need to know that the earth is round. And I'm like, both of them can prove it beyond a doubt. Mm-hmm. Sure. How's that possible? Well, maybe it's because whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of truth to that with so many things. Too, like the way that we interpret our reality, if we fully understand and accept the fact that we're all existing in these fleshy suits on a spiritual plane, and we start looking at perception, we start looking at interaction, we start looking at the power of energy and manifestation and all of these things. I mean, there's so much truth to that. I think you're dead on with that.
Couldn't agree more, dude. I mean, like that's really it. Hey, right, left, they're both right because you manifest your reality.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Both of them are real.
Right.
You manifest Biden's evil, Trump's evil. Both you could find evidence for both of them. Yeah. And that's done purposely. A lot of that is also part of like when it's done purposely is nonlinear warfare. But the notion that there is no reality, there's only perception. So what you want to perceive becomes real. So all of it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Man, that's some deep shit right there.
Yeah.
I had to sit back from the mic and let it sink in for half.
And then like I'm not on any psychedelics, and that's the most psychedelic, non-psychedelic moment I've ever had in my life. But that's really what I believe, dude.
Sure.
All of it is real.
Yeah.
And you manifest it enough, it fucking happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to that, man. I believe it too.
So that's why I don't get lost in all the crazy. I got a buddy of mine I love with all my heart. Just so lost in like the world, it's all coming to an end. They're coming for this, they're coming for that. And it's just like, they've been saying this for fucking ever, dude. Mm-hmm. And like, they literally tried to take our guns recently and they got smacked down. It's just like, I just believe that and maybe California just becomes so fucking weird that it's a weird gun. Guess what? All the gun people will move to Texas. Yeah. And then you just got this fucking plot of land that's just armed to the teeth, like fucking, like some fucking third world country, or like the fucking slums of Brazil where everybody's packing. And like, that's how it is, man. But I just think it's all going to be fine. Whatever you want to be. If you want to be miserable, the reality is miserable. If you want to be fucking that's why some people just win all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because
they just see it as winning. And you can manifest to your dreams, but I also think if you put out the wrong energy, it could fuck you. Like right now, I was just watching a video. Carlos Mencia was on Bobby Lee, and they were discussing, just the history of what he's accused of, and I'm over it. Like I feel like I don't know if you saw the Comedy Store doc on like everything that went on, but it was pretty much the best doc on the Comedy Store. And the whole episode was dedicated to him and what he did there. And to me, that's the nail in the coffin, man. That's the nail in the coffin. But him, Dane Cook, who I root for, man, these guys were just fucking ripping people's jokes off.
Wow.
But they had manifested to the top of their career, but eventually the energy you put out is the energy you get back.
It's true.
And it just crashed, because when you go down, who you meet on the way up, you will meet on the way down. And if you fuck everybody, no one will reach their hands out.
That's a good point.
True.
Wow, that's a good
It's
point.
so
For
true.
sure.
Man, who's your favorite stand-up?
Of all time
Yeah.
or working right now?
Both.
You know, it's like I was influenced. I feel like if Sam Kinison is the only guy from way back in the day that you could take from like the 80s, early 90s, drop him in today, and he could still bang with the best. Like, he was the first of the style that you see with Bill Burr and Joe Rogan, like this kind of ranting, screaming kind of comedy that's really prevalent right now. You know, I mean, I love Andrew Dice Clay. I love Eddie Murphy. I love Richard. Everyone's got to love Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
You know, modern day, I think the top four, in my humble opinion, are like Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Dave Chappelle, and Dave Attell. And they each have their own kind of role on, like, they all hold their own kind of throne. Like, I think Joe Rogan is the Godfather. I think Bill Burr is a heavyweight champ. I think Dave Chappelle's the GOAT. And I think Dave Attell's the king. Like, I think he's the greatest writer we've ever seen in comedy, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
And he's just so complex that he can't get to those levels those other guys do. I mean, at least Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle, because, you know, they've tapped into something that's an acceptable paradigm, whereas Dave doesn't go there. He's like crazy dirty, but super. You have to think every time. And Joe Rogan just is just. We'll never see another Joe Rogan ever again. We may see another Dave Chappelle. We may see another Bill Burr, another Dave Attell, possibly. It's gonna be hard, but we will never see a Joe Rogan again. This is so unique. And I don't know, unless you see another sport fucking coming out of nowhere that gets as huge as the UFC, and that person's the voice of that. And then you see a new medium such as podcasting suddenly explode out of nowhere. And not that it can't. I mean, I do think it's possible that there's another medium or two out there that we haven't discovered yet. But I mean, to be the master of both of those is very unique.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've always had a soft spot for Doug Stanhope, dude. Doug Stanhope.
Well, there's only four on there.
Yeah.
But if I could put some more people, 100%.
Yeah.
Doug Stanhope,
Oh my
Joey
God.
Diaz, Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura. Tom Segura is out of all of them, the smartest businessman.
Yeah.
And like, some people think that has a negative connotation. I mean, in the nothing but love and respect. Like, that dude has done everything he's done without having his own TV show. And he might get really sad about, like, oh, well, you know, I mean that in respect. Like, he's never had to dance that dance or be on set all the time. And he, you know, I'm a dirty comic, right? Yeah. I've been doing dirty comedy since 1992 or 3, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I started. And I would tell you, dude, that fucking when I started comedy, Your Mom's House is like what we all dreamed of.
Yeah.
Like that kind of being able to do that comedy and have such fucking love. Like, everyone dreams of that. It's like how it's the closest thing to Howard Stern without the machine behind Howard Stern. Cause I loved Howard Stern, but you look back at his logo, it's like the Marxist fist. I'm like, holy fuck, that's a straight up Marxist fist. And you kind of look at like how big he got. He never got kicked off the air. He issued in all, it's kind of fucking nuts. Right.
Yeah.
So Dave, you know, there's that. And then, but like, I don't need like clean comedy. I don't need dirty comedy. Like Jack Foxworthy's pretty amazing. So there's a whole bunch of people I find pretty. Joan Rivers is easily right there with Stanhope.
Yeah.
She should be higher up, but I would have to put her with Diaz and those guys, like that fucking level. So it's just very interesting.
Oh yeah. What, are you looking at property in Austin too? Austin, Texas?
That's the next question, dude, is what is next? I'm waiting to find out what happens to the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
I'm not really into LA comedy right now. I've been really let down by the people out here and how they operate, and this whole Me Too shit. We just said Marilyn Manson's a piece of shit, right? He's a piece of shit. He goes into fucking Utah, rips up the Bible in front, the Mormon Bible in front of Mormons. Like when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, dude, that's edgy. And I'm like, dude, that's like dickish, dude. When you get into a spiritual path, you're like, what is that? Just, you're there to sing. You don't need, you're ripping up their thing. Like, what does that mean? Right. And then, but that also doesn't mean that Rachel Evans Woods or whatever her name isn't shady as shit either and completely fucking hijacking a moment, which is something we've seen over and over and over again. And that's really what my complaint is like Amber Heard completely lied and no one's calling her out on, and there's zero repercussions from it.
Yeah. I hate that shit so much.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So the biggest thing that whole thing is you got to pull out of all of it.
Yeah.
What you guys are doing right now with your podcast, that's what you do. You create a podcast, you create, and now you're on Rockfin.
Yeah.
That starts cooking with gas. People have been sharing your 10 parts to genocide. I see people sharing that.
Yeah.
Like that means you're fucking resonating with people. And that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just looking at the world and I'm like, God, I came across like the 10 stages of genocide, and I was just like, oh my God, it's like literally what's happening before our eyes. You know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy. But it's kind of weird. I didn't realize till after the fact. Like, I kind of edited that together, and these guys did the vocal parts. But when you go back to the genocidewatch.org, the website, like the guy Dr. Stan guy who created that, like right on the main page, his argument is that, yes, we're on the road leading to a global genocide, but he's got it, from what I argued, completely backwards. Like, I was all excited about like sharing it with him, be like, hey, check this out. But he's got it flipped so where he's talking about like he sees the genocide being, Trump supporters are on the way to mass genocide all the population with Trump as the head of this global genocide that's about to occur. It's like,
how ironic that the founder of Genocide Watch is gone the other direction. I mean, it's so ironic. But I'm also not surprised.
Well, how old is he? We just had this guy on who's like one of the OGs of conspiracies, and he was just like, Biden is milquetoast, and I've heard that so many times from older liberals.
Yeah.
And I'm a liberal. I'm a libertarian, but I'm old school liberal. Live and let live. I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
But it's just like you're completely delusional if you think. Now, I make no delusions of that Trump walked on water, but like what his narrative is like it resonated with me, which is nationalism, Second Amendment, get Marxism out of the country. So of course that resonated with me, but I make no illusions of who he is. I mean, you cannot sit there and say white nationalists are the biggest problems when Antifa and BLM burnt down middle class. They literally had a rich kid purge, the movie Purge. Rich kids got to go down and burn middle class businesses down with zero repercussions. So then these guys go to Capitol Hill, in which BLM and Antifa has been telling us the system's fucking broken, and you go down to where the system was made, and then all of a sudden we're having terrorists. It's laughable.
Yeah, it is
laughable.
It's totally laughable.
It seems like they already had the script written on that one, and it didn't go quite as didn't go off as much as they would have liked to have, but they still played out the script, right? Like, the worst thing since Pearl Harbor, and it's like, dude, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, for sure.
It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know who watches. The new thing is just also on Twitter, block all blue check mark people that you don't know. Like anybody who is part of news blah blah blah.com, block those people, because there's no way news blah blah blah.com has 300,000 followers like somebody like a Bert Kreischer does or a Tom Segura does. The peak of this, like, I've never heard of your news organization. Why do you have 300,000 followers? It's so hard to get 10,000, 20,000.
Yeah.
I've never heard of you and you have 300,000. It's total bullshit. So unless you personally are like fans of theirs or you personally know them, block them all, because that is the new media. That's the new mainstream media. They put it out on the old television and they know nobody watches, and they just disseminate it out to everybody through blue check marks now.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, so man, you can get one on your house now. I saw that. Isn't that just a nice little touch? You see that shit?
That's the dumbest. That's the mark of the beast. That used to, if you had a blue light on your porch, it meant you were a gay hooker and you took it in the ass, and that's how they would know that's what that was. That's what a blue light used to mean. A red light was a female hooker, and a blue light was a gay male hooker.
There you go. Well, there you go. That says all you need to know right there.
There you go.
Yeah, you give we can trust Johnny though. Johnny, we can vouch for him, right? Yeah.
No, well, barely. He could be a. I don't know. Shady as fuck.
It's interesting too. So, like you were talking about, probably Chris Milligan that you had on the other day, talking about secret societies.
He was excellent.
Yeah. He's just right up the road from us, just a few miles away. Like I've seen a lecture of his here in town. Like he's a good guy and solid stuff.
I like him a lot. He's not the only one of a certain. Not that he's old at all, but it's
totally.
like. Even my age, at 40-something, I'm 48 years old, right?
Yeah.
The people my age are still stuck in R's and D's.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's just like, I have a lot of friends who just hated Trump, stopped talking to family members that were Trump people, that are just like, when Biden blows up the Middle East, what are you going to do? And they're Middle Eastern people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love them. They're some of my favorite people.
Absolutely.
They're just the nicest people, but just people got lost in that election. Yeah. And they got lost in the R's and D's. When I'm telling you, it's just the same people. Like, I don't like Republicans, dude. No. I like a part of Trump. That's it. I hated the vice president. I think Mike Pence is a piece of shit. He's a fucking power bottom piece of shit. I said it from the start. There's just parts of fucking Trump that I liked. That's it. The rest of it, set it all on fire. Kill it with fire because it's broken. And why can a mayor only be mayor for two terms? Your senators 2 terms, your governors 2 terms, but your fucking career politicians can be in Washington forever. And it's just, the truth is, we live in, like, everyone hates Q. I go, what do you want them to do? They pull their money and their fucking time out of the mainstream media, Hollywood, the 2-party system. What else are they supposed to do? What else are they supposed to do? We have no rule of law. That's our problem right now.
Yeah, for sure. I heard the argument for me was like, now that, I of course got caught up in a conversation with somebody that's completely the opposite persuasion, and I got bogged down in this conversation. They're saying that now all these Q people, because they lost, they are now, or because their narrative didn't come true, now they're all out accosting people at vaccine centers and stuff like that. And then they're aligning with white supremacists, and they're accosting people at vaccine places where they're distributing vaccines, and they're like, because they're bored now. I'm like, is that what CNN's saying?
You can't save people who believe that. There's nothing you could do, and all you can say, it's like Eddie Bravo is always ahead of his time. Yeah. And the biggest thing he said, and this was like months and months ago, was, if you don't see it, I can't help you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and that's what it is, man. If you, like, dude, they had this, I had to fucking nail this guy on fucking Twitter, but he's like, these people stopped me from getting my mom a vaccine. It was like 4 people with shitty ass signs. I'm like, so the 4 people with their dog shit signs stopped you from getting a vaccine for a virus has a 99.6% survival rate. Yeah. Like, how are you going on? How are you not crying at home? Sure. You fucking piece of shit. And they're all brown shirts, man. So block them. And let me tell you, man, I know that politics are still going crazy. I just don't watch it anymore. And it just seems perfectly fine to me. For sure.
Yeah. I completely withdrew from all of that, and everything has just completely, like, the universe has found new balance in my life. And as much as I say, we just need to disconnect, we just need to turn it off, but also because of what we do and because of the, exactly the kind of, like, the people who we're trying to encourage or to empower along this path, But it got to the point where I just was spiraling into like the rabbit holes were just all dark. And like you were saying, like, I was getting black pilled. Like I was like, I told Scott, I'm like, I feel like I just want to be done. Like, I don't even want to go forward anymore. I don't know if I can do the podcast. I don't know if I can, like, it's just too much. It's so dark. And like, as soon as I took one onion layer step back from that, like my whole, and it took like about 7 days and my whole life realigned and everything kind of came back around. I'm no longer black pilled. And you have to be conscious of that energy too, I think. You know what I mean? And
it's just easy. Listen, dude, I know a lot of black pill people that they mean well.
Yeah.
But it's like, don't come at me if you don't have a solution.
Yeah.
If you can't tell me what the solution is, I don't need to know about it. It's like, that's no different than the meteor hurling towards Earth. If you don't know where it's going to hit, I don't need to fucking hear about it. Don't tell me about it if you can't tell me where not to be. Outside of that, I don't give a fuck. And that's really what it is, man. And it's just like, yeah, dude, it's like, so Instagram, I can thank Instagram for this. Their terms of a use is so intrusive now that they can just mine everything off your phone. So a buddy of mine had an iPhone he wasn't using, and he gave it to me. So now to put my Instagram, I actually have a TikTok on there because there's no information on this iPhone for it to mine. So, and then I have Twitter on there, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I used to be addicted to Instagram, just the pictures, ooh, shiny object. And now I'm really kind of, I'm over it. Unless it's business, I'm pretty much I only post on Facebook my episodes, and if I got a show coming, then occasionally I'll go to the tinfoil hat page, just see if anything's going on. And even then I'm just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I love to learn about like the fucking, I love to learn about the Akashic records. I love learning about that shit, ancient knowledge, paranormal, multi-dimensional shit. And that's kind of where the podcast is going to move to.
Nice.
Because I've led marches that grew to fucking 10,000 people in Hollywood marching against fucking pedophilia. But guess what, dude? It's just like this Me Too movement was like concerned about white female actresses and didn't give a shit about kids. So it's like I have to pull myself out of that, or else I'm just gonna go nuts.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or worse. The further down you go that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, dude, some people lose their lives. I'm not worried about that. That doesn't scare me, dude.
Totally.
But, now that I have kids, I kind of want to be around and help them and make sure, they get all the tools to deal with stuff. So that's all really you can do about that. Outside of that, man, it's just like, let it go, in everything, even in your personal life with people who are going nuts. It's just like, Muhammad Ali, like it's got a combination of the way I live my life now is be Denzel Washington with a pinch of Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope. Just let people wail away and they'll eventually get tired. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's kind of like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not sky blue. It's like, I still have like a lot of fucking chaos in my life. Cause I just live it. I'm the king of the land of the misfit toys,
Hell yeah.
I just let the crazies in every fucking time.
It's fulfilling. I love it. It's fulfilling, man.
I just manage cuckoo all the time, and I can see it coming all the time. Like I set myself up for that. But outside of that, man, I live a pretty good life. And it's just interesting because I just don't get into it anymore. But people want to get into it with me, like family members. They get so angry. And they'll get angry at you. Even when you're paying your bills and take care of your family, they still I'm like, why are you mad at me, man? If I was a banker, fucking people, like, you'd be okay with that. But because I tell the truth about what's going on, suddenly I'm the crazy person in the family. And it's just like, you just got to let go. Just got to let go. That's more about them than it is about you, dude. Yep. And it's like, I've learned that in recovery too. It's just like most people, the most freeing thing I've ever learned in my life is that nobody's thinking about me. Nobody. And when it sounds like it's really like, oh, I'm all alone, but no, it's like nobody's out there trying to fucking, devise my downfall. It's like everything is like me, and like anything going wrong in my life is a direct result of things that I decisions I've made. Now, sometimes bad things happen to good people and sometimes good things happen to bad people. But for the most part, you are the one common denominator in everything that you do is you. So once you get in that, man, you start working on yourself, letting shit go, catching yourself when you're being a piece of shit and, treating people like shit. And, help others, man. One of the best podcasts we ever did was with a guy named Matt Belair. And he was just like, when you see a homeless person, give them a couple bucks, ask their name and fucking, help them out. And that it's like this, going back to simulation. It's like when you help somebody, you feel like this kind of like boop, 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 going on. Like it's like a turbocharging when you're on Super Mario. And it's like, that's the stuff that I really enjoy. Like, that's why I really enjoy like Zero. Mm-hmm. And even to a point, Cash Daddies, which sounds like they're two different things. But for me, it's like with all these people becoming cash rich off the internet now, whether it's Patreon, Rockfin, OnlyFans, right? Whatever it is, man, there's a flush of cash and you got to learn how to invest it. So, you work hard for your money, but your money needs to work hard for you at some point. Mm-hmm. But Zero is like, I would be going nuts if I wasn't in Zero. If I didn't realize that they're like, death is only hard on the living. Yes. Everyone's, I want to die a painful death. Everyone who's died said that it wasn't painful at all. No part of it was painful. And that you're just passing through and that you go to this amazing place. And it's just like, yeah, dude, had a nice run. Was it fun? Do you want to stay? You want to go back? You make a decision. You see everything ever around you and you can make a decision. And most people choose to stay on the other side. Some choose to come back. And once you realize that you're just passing through, this is all just passing through, all of it.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's why it goes back to this is a spiritual war because they want us to be trapped there. Like you could live forever. Sounds fucking horrible.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
But isn't that what they're pursuing? Isn't that the ultimate goal?
Well, because like the Rockefeller just died, right?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
He's like probably one of those chickens that are getting fucked in the ass by some Latino on some weird website. Like he's coming back fucked up, right? Yeah. That's just how it goes, man.
Yeah, totally.
That's just how it goes. That's why they don't want, or they know they're going down to a place that's so bad because they just wanted all the cash and prizes and they realized that is not what this realm is about.
Yeah, absolutely. That harkens back to what we were talking about earlier. Like I had theories about why the quickening, right? And it was from a conversation with a guy who is pretty blue pilled. And we kind of came to this conclusion. It's like, okay, so what shifted, what changed, what caused this chain of events to go into such hyperdrive, right? And for me, my initial thought was like, maybe they cracked the code of like AI, right? Like they have AI, like general AIs come online and they kind of, in any case, they've kind of made it very clear that they don't need us anymore. They don't need us anymore, right?
Yeah, but dude, AIs can't tell you which picture is a bridge.
Totally. Well, but who knows?
Which picture is a stair?
But who knows? But I mean,
like that's my whole thing, guy. It goes back to murder hornets and food shortage. It's like all the future tripping going on. It's like AI and transhumanism is the new religion of the elites in the age of Aquarius.
Certainly.
Well, I was going to say, but my other thought was, well, maybe they did unlock the secret of immortality. And now they can live in their like forever paradise on earth. And that's why they need to get rid of us. I don't know,
dude. I think the archons just run that shit and they feed off our negative energy.
Yeah.
And if they didn't need us, they would easily commit genocide and it wouldn't even they wouldn't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
And they just don't have that power. We have all the power. Yeah. They have none of it. Yeah. If they had that power, we'd all be dead and there would be a bunch of Rothschilds around and that's it. And I just really do believe now, I'm not saying what you're saying isn't real.
Yeah.
But it's like, now we're back to future tripping.
Yeah.
And we're worried about this shit. It's like, when there's a robot with red eyes fucking ready to take me out, then I'll worry about it at that point. But outside of that, I mean, it's like everybody, you remember when Obama was in, like they're coming for the guns. Yeah. Everybody bought guns.
Yeah.
Everybody bought ammo. And here we are 2 presidents later. Like, I'm not saying they don't, but it's like, there's so many guns out there now There's so many guns. Like they're never going to be able to round up all the fucking guns. And here's the whole thing. Like I wear a mask, not because I have to, it's because I want to, just so I don't have to fucking smack a bitch, right? Like I don't want to go in there and have to go nuts on a motherfucker because I will.
Yeah.
I've done it a couple times.
Right?
I've been forced out of stores.
Yeah.
I put it on and I let go. When someone's a piece of shit to me, I don't bring my business to them anymore.
Yeah.
When some guy's like, "Hey, dude, you need a mask." Like, I had a paper bag over my face. He's like, "That's not a mask." Oh, it's blocking my day. No, I won't ever go back there and shop. Never again.
Yeah.
Because I just went and got my haircut. It's the worst haircut I've ever got. And it was like, this guy's like, "Could you please put your mask over your nose?" And I'm like, I'm never going to go back there and get a haircut again.
Yeah.
And I know they're just doing their job, but no, dude, it's like they're exerting, they get a little power and they want to exert it.
It is.
Yeah.
Totally.
So outside of that, has there ever been a law passed that you fucking changed your life?
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
You wear a mask because you just don't want to deal with the bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not a law. It's a mandate. It's still not a law.
Right.
It's a mandate.
Yeah, I have good days and bad. If I just need to get in and get out, I'll freaking comply. But I got these little clear plastic ones, which are pretty sweet. They go up like this and just like, it's kind of like a fuck you mask. Like,
See,
No,
I've
I'm
been kicked
with you
out
on
with those twice, so
Yeah.
I won't go back to
Yeah,
those
you're
businesses.
just having the dumb. You're just having the dumb exert power.
Yeah.
Let them have
For
it.
sure.
yeah.
You know, I'll never fly United, and I'll never. I hope I didn't buy tickets on United, but you know, next time after that, I will not, because it's just like pull your fucking business out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that
Which
goes
is what the Q people did.
Yeah.
Yep.
They pulled their business out. That's all they can control.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Sure.
Who wants fucking communism in the U.S. government? Who wants satanic pedophiles to thrive? Nobody. So why are the Q people bad? Well, they trust the plan. Like, what was that? What did that result in?
Yeah.
Like, because everybody was calling out Trump on everything. Oh, you didn't call out Zionism? Well, good luck calling out Zionism and not being just shunned by everybody on every side because you're anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not going to happen on a fucking suit. There are a lot of black pill people doing that.
Yeah.
But it's like the Q people were like, we want to get rid of the pedophiles. We want to get rid of it, and we want to expose the fucking communists. That happened.
Right.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm just yelling at
No,
you guys.
love it, dude. Love it.
Love it.
Love it. That's what we signed up for here, man. You got our names right, though. I kind of feel
Yeah.
disappointed. But no,
No, I know, man.
got
I
easy
felt
ones,
bad.
man.
I didn't have everybody's name the whole
Yeah.
time.
no, you're
but-
good. You're good,
Great,
dude.
but yeah.
Rock.
Yeah,
Awesome, man.
we're just trying to disconnect from as much shit as we can lately.
Yeah,
That's-
I'm telling you, dude.
That's
Get
what
into
we're doing.
spirituality,
Yeah,
dude,
that's-
and it will be the most uplifting shit
Yep.
you'll ever get into.
Yeah,
And
for
it'll
sure.
just, anything that happens, it's like, you guys should get a woman on Von Galt. She changed my life
Von Galt.
on my podcast, Von Galt.
Got it.
And
sure.
she's a Buddhist, and she's real. And like, dude, she's like, the two things she told me is no one can control you, and there will be suffering. Once you realize that there will be suffering, hold on a second. Once you realize there will be suffering, it's like, that's why these people don't get it, man. It's just like, you talk to Buddhists, they'll tell you, we're all one of the universe. That is, all lives matter. Okay. There will be suffering, which means there's going to be pieces of shit that are racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, whatever it is. They're out there. That's part of what this realm is about.
Right.
You're meant to experience it so you could learn from it. You can't legislate out your dark passenger. You just can't do it.
Right.
It's part of the universe. It's the yin and yang. It's the white light and the black light. That's just the way it is, man. See, the minute I take this thing down, I start staring at myself. I have to put that up.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Shoot, Sam. Heck yeah, dude. When are you going to come to Portland next?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We're coming back with, Eddie's, I think, ready to start going. It will be a little ways down the line, but I think he wants to go out. So I'm a little nervous because we're going to take Tinfoil Hat off of YouTube, and that was like a lot of people watching.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Hell yeah,
and, but I think it's for the best.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I never want to be asked to leave.
Yeah.
I want to leave on my own accord.
Yep.
Sure.
And it's obvious. Like they dig me for a twerking video. I did something
Yeah,
called
I saw
twerking
that.
in
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah.
And like I would take Instagram videos of girls twerking, and I found this picture of a guy from the 1800s, a picture of him, and I would do that like fucking that weird thing where you can make their jaws move, and I would like do political statements. It was meant to be idiocracy, and they dinged me on that for like they said it was overly sexual. I'm like, dude, twerking videos are overly sexual.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, but it's like you would literally have to get rid of your entire fucking half of your videos are twerking. Like YouTube would be like Joe Rogan's bit about chicks that they took naked, some chicks that they took naked pictures out of their phone would be lighter, you know? That's just the way it is. So it's like, it's just, they're coming for
They're
me.
coming.
So it's like,
Yeah.
so my whole thing is, you know, if I was you guys, I would keep doing YouTube.
Yeah.
And then just know at some point they're going to come for you.
Yeah.
And you should be backing your shit up on another website the whole time.
100%. That's what we're working on. Yep.
Absolutely.
Redistribution.
Get on Odyssey.
Yeah.
You're on Rockfin.
Yep.
You should be putting premium content and free content
Yep.
on there.
Yep.
And then have your website and have that the place where everyone comes and sees you. And then just get into spirituality and just have a fun journey, dude.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
everything will work it out. And like, I'm super happy you guys are in the Union on the Unwanted. I just
man.
feel like that thing's got, like, I just think it's really underappreciated right now. And there will be one episode that just hits, and that everyone will go back and look at all the old episodes, and then it will just blow up. I mean, they just keep putting it on YouTube. They're like, somebody put it on YouTube and they're like, it was the one with Dr. Judy, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
And they're like, I can't believe they took it down. I'm like, you put a Dr. Judy video up. I mean, like, that's what's going to fucking happen.
For sure.
Like, she's
for sure.
blackballed. It's like, so I think it's going to be great. And I think it's just going to push us. So the next internet should be coming very soon, right?
Yeah.
It's called Internet 3.
Yeah.
And everything will be decentralized. It will all be blockchain. So they won't be able to control it. Yeah. Which means this shit's going to come to an end. And I that's the stuff that I start getting into.
Yeah.
I start enjoying.
Or podcasting 2.0, right? Adam Curry's little project.
Yeah,
right?
I love that too, man. Without Adam Curry, I probably would be dead.
Yeah.
If he hadn't created podcasting, I would have no avenue for me to do me. And I'm a crazy person, dude. Like I'll be like, I'll see a guy talking to himself, like a homeless guy. I'm like, dude, that guy's talking to himself. And then I realize I've been talking to myself for the last 30 minutes too. So it's like, I'm a crazy person. So that's why, like, yesterday I did 4 podcasts. Today I did 3 podcasts. And like, but that's like my mind. It just,
dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, I did 3 today.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Right?
We hopped on
as long as
Ricky's.
you don't burn yourself out.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the shit. And the more nobody's life ever got worse by working their internet. The more you work into your internet, the more the blessings will happen. So I do 2 kinds of podcasts. I do 3. I do a paywall service, which is like premium content for people to help me support because I have kids. But the other 2 are, and the most important are I do either stuff I like to talk about, conspiracies in sports, or things I want to learn about, which is spirituality. And this Cash Daddies, I'm learning investing. Yeah. And I want my fans to learn how to invest because nobody teaches investing. Yeah. Are you guys big stock people?
Dude, I literally just created like a Fidelity account last week because of all
the
bullshit,
so
right?
That's where we start because like if you look at all the underrepresented demographics, right? It's like, it's all about, none of them are big in the investing.
Sure.
None of them are big, in IRAs, like the Black community, females. You don't hear a lot of females who are day traders. A lot of gays. You don't hear gays that are day traders. You just don't, that's not in that demographic. Sure. And that to me is why some demographics fucking flourish and others are living check to check. So my whole thing is like, I don't want to be into the stock market the way like that, like I'm buying into Halliburton and all that shit.
Yeah.
None of that interests me, but like IRAs, like what's that? How do I do that? Bitcoin, are there stocks that I think are fun that aren't going to affect me bombing brown people and stealing their natural resources, stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like spirituality. I want to learn the world of the spiritual and have all these people who have experienced amazing things, have them on, and then also have, learn about investing so that my listeners can learn how to invest, because investing is boring. So you do it fun, so it's digestible. And that's what you make your podcast. Whatever you want to learn about, you should make a podcast in it to learn about it. And we're literally becoming Neo going, whoa, I know Kung Fu. Like that's that's exactly what podcasting is becoming, where you're downloading information. So guys, I love this. We should do this more. We will do it again.
Absolutely.
I've seen you guys grow. I think it's fucking great. I'm so fucking happy because I saw when you started and I was like, dude, that's a great name. It's a great name, dude. It's a great, I don't know if you guys even like Godzilla, but
hell yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited for this new Godzilla. I'm like, I didn't realize I was a geek in something, and I'm a geek. I'm a Godzilla geek, but it's a great name, dude. And that's literally, I would say, 80 to 85% of the battle is a great name.
Oh yeah. Thanks,
There's
man.
people with great names that have shit content and they still flourish. So Truthzilla is great. You guys are the best. I appreciate you guys having me on your show and you on my show. And we'll definitely do it again soon.
Hell yeah, Sam.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a lot,
much,
brother.
Sam.
Appreciate it, man.
And when we come to, when I do a show in Portland, maybe we'll do stand up and then maybe do a live show.
Hell yeah.
Maybe do 2 shows. And because you got, who else is in Portland?
Adam, Deborah Gets Red Pilled, Dean Reiner.
The fucking Good Morning Jonestown.
Yeah, Good Morning Jonestown.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're more like just shit talkers, but I still love them. I don't know how much of the conspiracies are, but I'm also know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists who weren't in Trump at all, and that's fine too. They're great, but there's a nice little community up there. So
for sure,
yeah, we should do maybe. I want to start doing a Union of the Unwanted convention.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
Festival, and we all just show up and we do podcasts.
Dude, that'd be a dream come true.
Amazing.
All right, guys, I appreciate you. I do really love you, and I support you.
Oh yeah.
And I'm rooting for you guys to do all the stuff you want to do, man.
Thanks,
I'm
Sam.
super happy. You guys, are an American success story. I know that sounds super cheesy, dude, but it's like, it's the truth, man. There's a lot of people who talk about it and nobody fucking does it. Not a lot of people. And that difference between the haves and the have-nots is that the haves did it.
Oh yeah, Sam. Well, we love you too, brother, so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Me on, and we'll do it again soon, okay?
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Your fans, my fans. And hey, man, this was a fun conversation. I look forward to doing it with you guys again. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
All right.
You too,
Bye-bye.
Sam. Oh my God,
Oh, dude,
man,
again,
dude,
dream
Sam
come
is
true.
awesome, dude.
Wow.
Dream come true, man. Like I remember saying, dude, first I started getting into podcasts, man. Like I plugged in my little headphones and like I would listen. I found his show fairly early, man. Like it was a big
Well,
part
I would
of my
think
waking
most
up,
people
dude.
in the truth community would say that Sam Tripoli is kind of the one that spawned us into the greater community, right? Like for me at least, it was Sam Tripoli that got me into the Ricky Varandas and Charlie Robinson and all these other people that I just love today, right? Like,
exactly.
So
like all that, like Monica Perez, I found out, like Tim Schultz, like Ricky Varandas, and
Whitney
of course,
Webb.
Whitney Webb, dude. He's just like pretty much my whole lineup has been, with the exception of like Joe Rogan, and I don't even listen to him anymore. Fuck that.
Yeah.
And Del Bigtree, you got me started on
totally,
Del Bigtree, but like Sam literally is the progenitor of so much of this, dude.
Sure,
God.
definitely.
Anyway. But you guys, so we talk a lot about Rockfin. Come join us, rockfin.com/Truthzilla. You can create a free account. We get crypto just for your clicks, you know what I mean? If you want to, it's $9.99 for the membership, and then you get access to everybody's premium content on the whole website.
And Sam talks a lot about his Zero podcast, which is a spiritual podcast, and that's the only way to access that one is with the Rockfin Premium membership. So, and we have been doing a little bit of premium content. We'll have some more coming to you soon.
Yep.
But Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, we got a Patreon, patreon.com. If you guys want to support us over there, we'll start putting stuff
Sure,
up. But it's
sure.
a great little venue to start to support the show, too, man.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got the T-shirts available, truthzilla.org/shirts, baby.
Well, they're not just T-shirts. We should add that they're the most comfy sweatshirts, hoodies
Yes,
in the land.
definitely.
I am a connoisseur of hoodies, and I can tell you that they're fantastic. So
Yep. They're pretty legit. So anyway, guys.
And it's kind of what all the cool kids are wearing too.
it is what it's what all the
Right?
cool kids in the camps are wearing.
Oh yeah, cool kids in the camp. Yeah, but and one last thing, we just put out the 10 Stages of Genocide documentary
A couple weeks ago now at this point.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but please check that out. It's really it's what's happening, and it's watch it and share it to people, because I think the parallels with what you're seeing right now in what is the 10 Stages of Genocide, like. We're on the edge, right?
Yeah,
we are.
for
So
sure.
I think it's necessary watching. So
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
necessary viewing. Is that what you say?
Yeah, necessary view.
Must see.
Must see TV.
Yeah,
Must see TV.
Yeah. So
All right. Well,
yeah.
everybody, thank you so much for your support, for sitting in with us, for your encouragement, all your kind words, your energy. We appreciate all of you.
Very much.
Thank you so much to Sam Tripoli for sitting in with us, also
Thanks,
for
yes.
having us sit in with him. An absolute honor. It was very special for us tonight. So until next time, I am Megan, sitting here with my dear friends, Scott and Ed, and we wish all of you intellectual prosperity. Good night.
Pew pew.
Pew pew.